Hello, everybody. This is Stu Smith with the Tactical Fitness Report, and today's going to be something a little bit different. We have Gerald Poole on here, who has been on here before. We've done a couple of videos and I guess write-ups, you could say, together. In fact, you were very instrumental in helping me create my new series, the Tactical Fitness Over 40 program. And in fact, our interview is part of this book, right? So the Fitness Foundation. So Gerald joined me, I guess, back in October 2017, yep. And was a member of the PT Club. PT Club is this little thing, online PT Club. It's basically me online coaching, and what I do is I send people weekly workouts, and their feedback each week helps me create a new week of workouts for them, and it's a lot of fun. I've been doing it since '99. So almost 20 years of online training people. And like I said, it's if you're a trainer and you're thinking about doing online training, don't do it because you think it's easy, right? Don't do it because you think, hey, I don't have to go to the gym and train people. It's still work, right?
It's definitely not easy.
It's still work, and I have to understand what's going on in this guy's head and this guy's body, and he lives in a completely different state than I do. So, but here's why I call Gerald my perfect student, right? And I'm going to share my screen with you, Gerald, because you did something that nobody else has done before.
Cool.
Right? And created a PowerPoint around you joining my club, right? Which, is not necessary, right? I don't want to let people think you have to write a PowerPoint to join my club.
Right.
But I tell you what, it laid out everything I needed to know about you. And I appreciate you letting me share this, by the way. It's
absolutely
personal
man.
Training is personal. And if, you want me to move on to something, just tell me, right? Like, we don't want to talk about that. You don't have to talk about it, but you're generous enough to just say, thank you. Thanks for your service. Very nice. Once again, not necessary, but thank you. But so anyway, and he even went into a layer of like, this is how I found out about you, Stu. Right? I found about you on Facebook. Right? I found about you on YouTube videos, Amazon. I purchased your books. You got this new podcast thing. I think I'd had it for a couple of months by then. You were listening. Military.com. I write a lot of articles. I've been writing articles on there since 2003. So I got over 1,000 articles on military.com. So that's how a lot of people find me. So it was nice to kind of see that as a business person, that the things that I'm doing to throw the net out there to, help people, see what I do. And if it might be for them, this was very good feedback. So good. I appreciate that.
Good.
Your motivations are great stuff. I mean, I think we all need a why, and your why was awesome. You can fill in these things, wherever you want. You have kids, you want to be better fit for your kids. You've done some camps in the past that you might not have prepared well enough physically to get through them. Maybe even some of that got into your mental game.
Yeah.
Right. And so now we're trying to overcome all of that, and you still do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which I think is an incredible art that people should know. Any of the grappling arts are fine, but I mean, if you're into something else like karate or boxing too, those are great too. But I think jiu-jitsu is a great one if you're more into the grappling side. So, any comments on these motivations? How are these motivations going now since October, and now we're April. We're about 6 months away now. What's going on?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm kind of an open book, because I really believe that if you want to get better, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. I think, as people, I think we can be really good about kind of BSing ourselves into what we want to believe. And I want to stay away from that as much as I can, because it's so easy to do. And with some of these camps I tried, I mean, I think the first time I tried that Kokoro was, I think it was going on darn near 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I kind of resigned to the fact that, I guess it's not for me. I couldn't do it or whatever. Well, I was thinking about this last night, and I really had never given myself a fighting chance, because now, especially through the PT club, I've learned so much about preparation.
Right.
And I didn't show up prepared. I had no idea what any of this stuff was about. And, um,
Well, I tell
I
you,
mean,
you're taking on very difficult challenges. Most people that like to do these challenges are younger, and they like to consider joining the military, maybe being a special ops guy.
yeah,
And I'm talking about this Kokora camp with Martin Devine, SEAL Fit, the Go Rucks, all of those are great for people who don't want to join the military as just good gut checks, and they're beyond your typical 5K workout, right? They're just takes it up a notch,
right.
which requires more preparation. And I think a lot of people miss out on that. Like you said, I get kids all the time who ask me, hey, I want to join the Navy in 4 months. Is that enough time to prepare for SEAL training? I'm like, what?
Yeah, right,
This isn't spring practice getting
right,
ready for fall football season. I mean,
right.
this is something that really requires years. And last night I did the Spec Ops triathlon I do locally here as a fundraiser, and we did it at night, and it was a lot of fun. But the guys that just crushed it were these Naval Academy guys who I've known since they were freshmen, right? And they've been training with me for 4 years, right? And they just crush this thing. And you can see the difference night and day between the people who've been training for this stuff specifically for 3 and 4 years compared to the guys that have been doing it for 3 and 4 months. And a couple of the
Right.
guys that joined us were just there for that was their first week, right? Their first week they did this thing.
Wow.
I had to scale it back for them because I said, this is too much. You need to back it
Yeah,
off a little bit.
yeah,
But look at what you can be. I mean, look at these guys that are, you've heard of my Devil's Mile workout,
yes,
right? Quarter mile bear
yes.
crawl, quarter mile
Y-
burpee jump, quarter mile fireman carry, quarter mile lunges.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
sounds a lot of fun, like a lot of fun.
we had a guy did that in 17 minutes.
That's amazing.
It took me 35 minutes, and I consider myself pretty good at these exercises, right? And he did it in half the amount of. He lapped me in the Devil's Mile. It was ridiculous,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
amazing.
I mean, he actually did a 400-meter bear crawl, maybe in like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah,
just running. So anyway, I mean, there is a level of fitness that you know you get when you quit just training, and now you are prepared,
right.
right? And you're on that journey right now, and you're doing really well. So just wanted to kind of share that with you. But these motivations and your whys, you got to have a why, right?
Absolutely.
And like you said here, as it continues, it's your kids, and you even put it in here. These are my whys. I mean, what you need to do.
Yes.
You got to have strong whys, and everything you need to do. And the cool thing about it now is you not only know it, you're doing it.
And
You know.
that's what we also talk about a lot, Stu, and that you talk about is, um, the persistence and the willingness to be patient, and the discipline. And you talk about how, kind of motivation turns into, eventually it turns into discipline, and that turns into mental toughness. And that's so true, because I've gotten a lot better at saying, I don't want to do this workout right now. It's going to be 2 hours of hard training, and I can't just kind of do it. I have to do it, because I imagine myself at the camp again. I imagine myself, when I go back and get it done.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. So why would I make the training easy? Why would I kind of just get through the training to check the box to say, oh, I've done my workout? No, I have to make sure that I'm preparing for it by pushing myself on a regular basis, and not slacking off during the workouts too, and being disciplined enough to do that.
Absolutely. I love that. In fact, the other day somebody had sent me a post or a response to a post, and it said, I'm doing my workout today because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
because I didn't want to made me want to do it more. And there's a fine line between, yeah, I'm bored or I'm tired, I'm just not in the right mindset, I don't want to do it. And there's a fine line between, you know what, I've been pushing really hard for the last few weeks, I need to
Yeah.
do a mobility day, and pull back a little bit. So there's a fine line between, not doing it because I just don't feel like it, and not doing it because you deserve it.
You're so right. And that's been another thing that's been so helpful for me is because to me, I have this weird kind of all or nothing, like, you know what, if I'm going to be, you know, if I'm going to be as tough as I can, then I have to push through all the time, no matter what. And, I think that mindset is good, but to your point, I think it can, in the end, I think it can be negative. I think it can hurt you because, like you said, I've gotten very good at determining, hey, am I tired? Am I just being lazy? Can I get
Yes.
this done? Or do I really need a mobility day? And you know, you haven't asked me to say this, I'm just saying it, but the PT club for me, I highly recommend that to anybody. I think it's affordable and it's been invaluable for me because there's been so many things that I've integrated into my training that I wouldn't have had I not signed up for that and connected with you. So and the mobility days are one of those things as well. And they've been really instrumental for me.
Well, I will say this, if you're really training hard and you're over 40, right?
Yeah.
That's the new rules of
Yeah.
these programs here. Um, is you got to take one of those hard days and make it a mobility day in the middle of the week, and
Hmm.
your mind will thank you, your body will thank you. I mean, it's nice to leave a gym and not be in pain.
Yes.
And I don't mean just in pain from like bad aches and joints, but just sore, um, tired. After I run, I'm never feeling like pain free after I run.
Right.
After I swim and after I stretch and do mobility work and foam roll, I'm not feeling any pain when I leave the gym, and it's heavenly.
It
Um,
it is. That's a good way to describe it. Another thing mentally, I walk in there and I go, "Huh, I got about an hour today or so." Instead of, this is a new workout. It's a tough workout. Maybe I'll be here for 2 hours. I don't
right.
know. It's a mental break as well.
Yeah, like I said, and if you're over 40, it's something you need to consider. And in
Yeah.
fact, you can Google Stu Smith Mobility Day, and I got a couple articles written on it. And it's just something that, like I said, it's part of the rules of this program. And this is a 52-week program, and every week it's got a mobility day in it. And it's part of the standard now.
Highly recommended.
Well, thank you very much. You didn't have to say that, but I appreciate that. So
Absolutely, man. It's true.
you got a lot of stuff going on here. You got your whys, they're strong. That's going to help you get through. And you're progressing with logical progressions, right? You got a 5K, you got a half marathon, you got a sprint triathlon, you got a go ruck light, so all of those things are nice, easy progressions, as opposed to going from 0 to a go ruck light or a go ruck or a Kokoro, whatever those programs are that's on your horizon. You got to have this really long progression to really be there and be a good member of the event as well. You don't want to be hating the event the whole time.
Yeah, and if I could just say, Stu, like, so, a couple of important things for me, just talking about this and kind of recapping as we go along. So, you said my whys. I had that, why do I want to do these things? Understanding that it's going to take a long time to prepare. I don't know. I may train for a couple more years before I go back. I really don't care
Yeah.
because I I've learned that part of this is enjoying that process of getting
Yes.
there. And that takes the maturity. And I didn't have that 10 years ago when I started doing these things. So what I've lost maybe, is a guy that's, kind of in his mid 40s. What I've lost in youth, I guess I'll say, I've certainly gained in wisdom, and I think it's serving me well. So knowing my whys, being patient, and then the progressive, just we're talking now, has been critical for me. So back when I tried these, I was kind of like a, I made a comment to you once, Stu, about how like I was in the locker room and I heard a guy going to another guy, "Hey, what are you going to work on today?" "I'm going to work on arms." "What are you doing today?" "Shoulders." And I was just like, I looked at my list of things to work on, and I was like, "You're doing shoulders. I'm gonna. I got a lot more on this list than just shoulders." And nothing against those guys or those types of workouts,
Yeah.
but it you have to have a progression of what you can handle at the time, getting incrementally more difficult over time, which requires persistency and kind of like a certain methodology, because going right from being one of those guys who does shoulders and arms once a week, with
Yeah.
legs and then alternating cardio and going to Kokoro
Yeah, yeah,
isn't going to work.
that's a rough progression, and it's just not the right training method.
No.
And you need some specifics to that training as well to go to. And I want to share this too. A lot of people think that this online training program that I do, that I train only kids that want to be SEALs. I have maybe had a handful of those guys. Most people that I train are 40, 50 year old. I got a couple 60-year-olds, and I think
Yeah.
a 70-year-old, in this. And it's not just in America. I mean, I got different continents too that
Yep.
guys are doing this. And some of them are police officers training for SWAT. We got firefighters who've been injured that, we're just helping them get through this. The neat thing about the fire service is those guys are really active, 40s, 50s, even into their 60s,
Yeah.
fighting fires, so their ability to have, to handle this stress for a long period of time is incredible. And they have to get really smart with their abilities to, build a better body so they can do that, not kill themselves with their workouts, but actually have their workouts enhance what they're doing,
And
in
I
the
like the
job and
fact
keep
that
them
you
healthy.
promote. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
I was going to say, I like the fact that you promote, like, look, there's this whole over 40 thing. And, I think a lot of people resign to the fact that, well, I'm 40, like, I'm never going to get in good shape again. It's like, no, you
No,
know,
man.
I will say at 43, it takes a little longer, and it requires a little more work to stay, at a certain level. And, you have to be more meticulous with your diet and your sleeping and things like that. But, you can still get into really good shape in your 40s and 50s
Oh
even.
yeah.
And I mean, I know, like I was telling you, some of these guys at these camps, and as I am going to be better and better and better. But some of these camps I've been to, like the Alaska Ruck, I mean, there was a guy in his 50s who was just like running circles around everybody with PT, man. It was amazing.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you've done it
Right.
for long
Right.
enough, it's going to, what you do that seems like an easy day for you is going to be very difficult for others because they just don't train in that different style. So
Right.
it's, put it this way. If you were to train like, you're training now and then go to a powerlifting tournament, you would do horribly.
Right.
We're not training to be power athletes. Same for a marathon too.
Yeah.
We're not training for a marathon. There are some specifics of your future goals that you have to start understanding and practicing and mastering, you know, before you go attempt those things. And that, I know that's maybe a little commonsensical, but at the same time, it's the truth. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. They think that their Monday, Wednesday, Friday split routine that they're doing in the gym is going to get them
Yeah.
ready for, that sprint triathlon or whatever they're doing,
Yeah, and
and
that's
if they,
that
and
middle
if they,
bullet point right
yeah,
there, Stu. Just real quick,
yeah,
I'd been interested in SEAL based training, SEAL based, like exercise programs or fitness programs, and that middle bullet point there is, again, is I know it sounds like I'm plugging the PT club a lot, but I am, because I after having been in it for 6 months, I really believe it's helped me more than anything I've ever done. And that point right there says it. Some of these other programs I was using were good, but they were kind of generic. with you, I really get to customize where I'm at and what I need to do next, and what the progression looks like for me.
Good point. And I will say this: you are a good student because you listen. I remember one day you'd sent back some feedback and saying, I just didn't quite have this workout, figured out this week. I didn't feel that great in it. And you say, let's make it harder, and I'll come back harder next week. And I said, no, let's pull back a
Yep.
notch
Yep.
and let's do a recovery week and see how
Yep.
you feel. And I saw your email. I could tell it was like, okay, you're the boss, you
Yeah.
know,
That's exactly what I said.
and but you listened, and how was that week for you?
Well, what we talked about a few minutes ago is being brutally honest with things, and everybody's got an ego, and I guess ego to a certain extent is important. But why would I? I tell you, hey, because I'm gung ho and I have these goals, but the bottom line is that way better than I do.
Right.
Far, 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 far more than I do about what I ought to be doing based on what you know of me. And so, when you said no, let's pull back, I said, yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said, all right, man, like I always say, you're the boss. It's because, obviously I trust you, but you're right. And so, um, when you talk about listening, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, well, why wouldn't I listen to him? Why would I, I mean, he's the one who knows what he's doing, not me. So I pulled back that weekend. Yeah. I mean, strategically, it was the exact right time to do that, because I think, I was kind of bordering on a little bit burnout, and had been pushing myself really hard, and I wanted to get better and go more and go harder and go faster. And the wrong way to do that would have been to make the workouts harder at that time. So when we pulled back a little bit, it was still decent activity, but the workouts were shorter. So it gave me a mental break and also a physical break. And I came back the week after that and had a better week than I'd ever had.
Absolutely. So here's the problem. With guys like you and guys that want to be special ops, and the guys that I train here locally for that and at the Naval Academy, my biggest job as a coach isn't to come up with hard workouts. It's actually to pull the reins on
Yeah.
all their workouts that they're doing in addition to mine. Like they jump into a JFK 50 miler, or they go run, some 24-hour ruck for no reason. I mean, they're in such a good shape. They're looking for a gut check.
Yeah.
And I told them the other day, I said, look, man, if you really want a gut check, just kick each other in the nuts a couple times. You know, don't
Right.
don't do this to your body. You're just, I
Right.
mean, I'm joking, obviously,
Right.
and they found the humor in that, but it's, you're ready. Don't break yourself trying to get even more ready. There's fine line where you don't ever think you're ready for SEAL training, for EOD training, or for Ranger training. You just never think you're ready to do it.
Right.
But there is a time when, as a coach, I can look at you and say, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Physically, if you do anything else, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right.
That's with that end of the spectrum, right? That I have to deal with, which is a lot of fun. I enjoy working with that group, but I also enjoy working with the group that is trying to get there, right? And is trying to get there as best they can. Even though they're 40, 50 years old, they're trying to get into that level of competition where, taking basically optimizing what their body is capable of doing at that time in their life.
Exactly.
And to do that requires some recovery, requires some rest days, requires some smart training where you don't go hard 7 days a week, and you actually get stronger during your recovery. So you have learned that, and like I said, I'm glad you listened. Now let's take a look at some of this. This is some stuff that you've done before you started working out with me,
Yeah.
right? Right. So you've done some hard stuff already, right? And you've kind of built yourself up from this. And I like this. This is a great progression, doing these Go Ruck events.
Yeah,
And
that was a great event. That was a
yeah,
great event. Actually, I think I was telling you one of the guys who was fought in the Battle of Mogadishu, John Bellman. was one of the cadre that weekend, and I thought, what a better way to push myself than kind of in a way to honor him and what he went through in that battle. And I mean, he's a great guy and a humble guy, which I really appreciate. It's cool to see guys that are kind of badasses, but they're humble. I
Yes.
think that says a lot about who you are, to me at least.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys. So the HTL was all of those put together: the heavy, the tough, and the light. And yeah, it was really hard, but I'm like, okay, I got things to work on. It wasn't perfect, and I could have done better in certain ways, but I made it through, and I think I did fairly well. But I don't want to be satisfied with that. I want
Yeah,
to.
that's a really good one though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a tough one. Now, here's the problem. What did you do after that? Like,
like
were
in
you
terms.
in like a long recovery state after
y-
that? Did you feel like you got deconditioned after this? You had to
yeah,
find a
that's a
new
good question.
goal. You have
That's
to
a good
find a new
question.
goal, because that's what happens a lot of times. People have this long-term goal, they make this accomplishment, and they don't do anything for 2 months.
Right.
And they get in a very serious state of decondition.
Yeah, so that's a good question, and that happened to an extent. I didn't let it go too long, but I'm sorry, I didn't let it go like so long, it being not training,
Right.
that I got totally deconditioned, but I got more deconditioned than I should have. And I think I took like a month off. I remember, you know, I learned a lot about foot care
Oh yeah.
and through this thing, because it was 3 days, and with little break, and I mean, I could barely walk by the end,
Mhm.
and I had blisters and peeling I lost several toenails, that all that. And so I've got to figure out a way to you know take care of my feet and things like that. So I took some time off, thought it was the right thing, but to your point, it was too much. And I always knew, like, Kokoro's in the back of my mind. I'm gonna go back and finish that, but I should have started a little bit sooner than I did. I should have maybe taken a week off instead of 4.
Right. Or start off with some mobility work, loosen,
Exactly.
get
That's
some
exactly
loose.
what I should have done.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I should have done, but I didn't know, because I
Right.
I you know I didn't learn about that until hooking up with you. But
Right. Yeah,
that would have been the
mobility is
smart
a
thing to do.
lifesaver, man. I'm
Yeah.
like I said, I'm doing some today after doing a all night Devil's Mile and
Yeah.
Spec Ops try. I'm feeling it this morning, and I
Yeah.
normally do a good workout on Saturday, but we did an extra one yesterday, so it's going to be mobility day for me. So
Yeah. Well, with 100, 200, 300 last night and all the stuff afterwards, like I was telling you earlier, I'm teetering right now. It could be mobility. It could be kind of one of the other workouts you have. We'll see.
all right, cardio only. Sometimes that's good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, you even gave me inspiration for the title of part 2 of the Tactical Fitness Over 40, taking it to the next level with this slide, right?
Yeah.
Like, this slide here is taking it to the next level. I'm like, oh, that's what he's doing. He's 40 plus, right? You're 40, over 40, right?
Yeah. 43.
Yeah, 43. So, yeah, and then most guys, just need to build a foundation, and then they want to take it to the next level. How do we do that? And you're doing several days a week of jujitsu. You're incorporating these workouts, and I make you, what, I make you 5 to 6 workouts a week, sometimes with a mobility day in there.
Yes.
We,
Yes.
we kind of alternate them just to fit your schedule
Yes.
into that. And yeah, and so yeah, this was you right here. In fact, I remember this. So you say you haven't done much since the HTL, so you need to ramp it up. So we just did little baby steps for the first probably 6 weeks, and
And yeah, just to mention, like, so me putting my injuries and stuff down there that I have to work around. I mean, I talk about being humble. By no means am I saying, "Oh, I got all these injuries and I'm pushing forward. Look at how strong I am." You know, that what I encourage everybody to do, and what I neglected to do earlier in my life, is to say, "Okay, what do I have to deal with that's realistic. I talk about being real in order to meet these goals. And I didn't have some of these injuries, 10 years ago, but now, with herniated discs, I've had asthma all my life. It's like, okay, I can do what I want to do, but I have to figure out a way to work around these. And going back to those mobility workouts and your lower back plan and things like that, like I can't, I haven't had really, I have some kind of pain to a degree and stiffness every day, but I haven't had, flare ups since I don't know. I haven't had a flare up since September.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood, exactly. But it,
No, but working around these things is part of what I do with you. We try to work around these things. I don't try to do crazy stupid
right,
workouts that you're going to hurt
right,
these things. And some exercises that we find out might not be the best for you. Sometimes it takes a couple reps and say, oh yeah, let's change that up and do it this
right,
way. And so that's how we do it. But we do it through communication. And if you're a very good communicator, obviously, and you help me, your feedback helps me create the next week's program, every single week. And that is invaluable for me as a fitness writer and program creator to fit something into your day. And even the
yeah,
little things that you tell me, hey, I missed 3 workouts this week because I've been working 18-hour days, blah blah blah.
right,
Even though you're doing that, you're missing workouts, still, that's a high stress week.
right.
A mobility day and a de-stressing, you know non-impact cardio workout is probably the best answer to that. Versus like
Absolutely.
going in there and crushing a high intensity workout on a Friday just because you've had a crappy week, doesn't really make you catch up.
And it keeps
Just
you
to what you
going
missed.
too. It keeps you
Yeah.
going. On those long days, or I think I mentioned over email the other week. My oldest son was sick, and my wife had broken her wrist. So
Yeah.
I was taking on extra stuff, and
Yeah.
that's part of the gig, and
It's
it was
part of
all
life.
good. But
Yeah.
you know, I may not have had time for a 100, 200, 300, but I have time for a 40-minute mobility, or I have time to, you know, do a 2-mile run and a mini mobility with that. And that is huge to fit things like that in, because mentally it helps me keep the momentum going when I can't get like a full training session in.
Yeah. So, like I said, you're very very helpful with some of the issues you have here, you know especially with your back. That was
Yep.
very helpful information. And then I asked a list of questions which you got into. We don't have to go into these, but then you gave me a great schedule here, because this really tells me like how to best fit workouts into your schedule. This is really a perfect example of, all right, here's how we're going to do a 2-week cycle with you, and make it a hard workout, make it an easy workout, make a recovery workout, mix in your jujitsu stuff, mix in your, this is a day off, I got family commitments,
Right.
whatever that is. My goal is to help you fit fitness into your schedule. And that has been the plan ever since. So let me get in here real quick. Some reason I can't stop sharing. Let me see.
Well, and that's exactly what you've helped me do, is figure out how to, because I mean that's the thing is, you know I am so glad that you can think of me in this way as being a good student and doing all these things that help you. But on the flip side, you know what do I want this to be? Am I just talking about meeting these goals, or do I really want to meet them? And if I really want to meet them, then I have to be thorough in, setting my goals. I have to be realistic in where I am now and where I want to be in 18 months. I have to be realistic about, hey, I'm gonna have to grind this workout out. I know it's probably gonna take me 2 hours. I'm not in the mood to do it. I'm tired, whatever, but I got to do it. I mean, do I want to meet the goals or not? And so, thinking less emotionally about it and more just logically about it is, if I want to do it, I have to do it right.
Yep, you're exactly right, sir. And we are moving in the right direction. So I guess that's part of this was just one to say thank you for one being a great student, two thank you for helping me explain what I think a great student is. But all my students inspire me in some way, right? And when I say students, clients, whatever you
Yeah.
call it, you inspired me to do this, because originally I had come up with that really hard workout that's tactical fitness over 40, which is
Yeah.
16-week program. It's basically my workout that I do, and I say, here's what I do over 40, go for it.
Right.
But then after speaking with you a few months later, after creating that, I was like, you know what? I kind of need a trilogy to work up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I've just kind of used you as a great example of the guy who, is the tactical fitness over 40 foundation guy. And I also have guys that are police officers and firefighters that are using these programs that are getting back into better fitness shape, not only just to be in good health, but for their job as well. It's the same path. I'm finding out, and that, guys like yourself who already have a job and got a career and got a family at home, civilian life, that likes pushing themselves a little bit more than your average 5 or 10K workouts. This is a great step for that. So, I just want to say thanks for that.
Well, absolutely,
Very big
Stu. I
help.
mean, I am thankful that you're like, hey, yeah, let's work together. But this whole thing, and I think I've told you this before, this whole thing being goal setting and connecting with you, and working through this progress and knowing it's going to take a long time, even though it's already been 6 months. It's like I think I've achieved a lot in 6 months, and I've got a long way to go. But it has brought a tremendous source of happiness to my life. Um, Having these goals and working through them. I mean, they're just realizing that I'm doing things now workout wise that I couldn't do last year. And not having said that, I still have to get better, but
Sure.
It's a tremendous source of happiness for me. It's amazing. And so, I just think anybody who's sitting there going, that might be cool, but it's not really for me. No, it is for you. It is for you. You got to know your whys. Write them down. Write down your goals. Start slow. Make it progressive. Hook up with the right person. Obviously, I would recommend you for someone looking to do that, and start going and start getting on that path. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, well, thanks. Not everybody is wanting to do the types of things that you want to do that's on
Yeah.
my program. I have people that are just wanting to lose 80 pounds,
Yeah.
and, get healthier, and that's a good progress. And the cool thing about that is, they're finding that, I'm losing weight and getting in better shape at the same time. I'm no
Right.
longer winded climbing up a flight of stairs. Because I have to walk up and down flights of stairs as part of my workout.
Yeah.
It's so it doesn't matter what the goal is. It doesn't matter what your fitness level is.
Right.
There is a place to start, and there's a place to start logically, to where you don't hurt yourself. Because what do most people do when they start a program?
Yeah. Too much too soon.
Too much too soon. Maybe they did something 20 years ago that they love this workout that they did in college, right? And they go right to it at 45 when they would just finish college, and 20 years later they try it again after doing nothing for 20 years, and they wonder why they get hurt. It's just you go back to these old habits, which is logical. I mean, we all do that, but really the goal is to, one, treat yourself like a beginner, and then build new habits.
Yes.
And then go from there in a logical progression. Hit some milestones along the way. Got these little sub goals to hit, and keep on moving. And even when you hit, and here's one thing I want to tell you, because you're going to be faced with this one day, when you accomplish these goals that you're trying to accomplish, you're going to be at a point of like, okay, what's next?
Right.
Do I have any motivation whatsoever to train? Right? Like, what is next? And you got to find that next journey.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be as difficult as what you have been on this long road to. It doesn't have to surpass that. You just need a new journey. It might be, I'm going to go be a yoga master,
Right.
or, which is not easy. I'm going to go, I'm going to be on a master swim team, right? That's going to be my new challenge, and try to do those. And so there's so many different ways. And to think that fitness is a destination is a bad idea, right? Because it just stops us. You got to think it is a constant journey. Like your life isn't over when you finish this Kokoro.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got a whole new thing. And by then, you're going to have older kids that want to start getting involved with you. You may
Yes.
find that your kids want to join you on a Spartan race one day, but you're now able to go do that because you've
Right.
maintained your fitness level to go do obstacle course races on a whim.
It's so important to incorporate into your life, like you said, whether your goal is, to run a marathon or do one of these camps or just to be fit or to lose 80 pounds or whatever. It's so easy to fall, you see people who kind of fall into that 9 to 5 kind of mentality. They go to work, they come home, they watch TV,
Yeah.
and that's it. And you know what? You can't let yourself do that. You got to push yourself and say, all right, I'm capable of so much more. What am I interested in? What do I want to do? And how am I going to get there? And then start doing it, like you said, slowly and progressively.
You know what, too? I have found that if you can start with a good fitness habit, you will find that fitness is a catalyst for so many other
Yep.
things in your life
Yep.
that will get better, right? Your energy levels to do better at work, your energy levels to do more things with your kids, your energy levels to just be more productive in everything, is a huge process that you get from, adding this type of fitness to your life. So,
Absolutely.
it's I would not be a good rider without it. Well, one, because I write about fitness, I have to do fitness, but I know that I am probably my most productive when I work out at my best.
Yep.
If I
Yep.
skip a workout because I just don't feel well, I got a cold, and then I come in here and try to work, I'm just,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
just
Absolutely.
it just adds so much to your life. Even though you may think it takes an hour out of your life, it's going to add so much more
So much.
quality to the hours that you have left. I promise.
I would even say I'm a better father.
Nice.
I would I'm
I know I am.
happier.
I know I
Yeah.
am. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my,
Yeah.
my kids are little, but and I've told you about them, but I'll be trained, if I can't get to the gym because my wife is gone and I'm with them, okay, I'll train in the basement and they'll be playing.
Right.
And they see that, and I know they see that. And so I'm kind of, even though they're 5 and 2, I, I'm getting them to start seeing things that I think are going to be important for them as well at an early age.
Absolutely.
So
And they want to
seeing,
do what you're doing.
yeah,
That,
yeah,
hey, Dad, can I try this push up?
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And I
Of
love
course
seeing
there's
them. I
yeah.
love seeing them do it. It's
Yeah.
it's hilarious too,
It is
but
fun.
it's fun.
It's fun. Awesome. Well, hey, Gerald, thank you so much for taking your time out of your Saturday morning to talk with me and put this on the show. But I just want to say, very proud of you. Very grateful that you're one of our clients on PT Club, and you've been a big help for me, professionally, as well as just you're a nice guy I like to talk to. So
Well,
thank you.
thank you, Stu. I appreciate all that. I appreciate you working with me, and I'm going to be working with you for a long time. So
Cool, man.
thank you again.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.